I feel like every time I tell this story to people in real life, they're like, what? Oh my God, I cannot believe this. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kenya. If you're new, hello. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below for more awesome content. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you like it. So today I'm gonna tell a really interesting story. It is about the time that I visited Burger King Corporation. I interviewed for their internship position when I was in college. I hope this video will help somebody out there that is in college, that is maybe curious, I guess. Just for a little bit of backstory, when I was in college, I was telling one of my coworkers about my goal of saving up for the summer and living in Miami, and she was like, why don't you apply to Burger King? I was like, girl, I'm vegan. I don't want to be flipping burgers. I'm talking about their corporate internship. I was like, okay, you know, whatever. And she was like, no. You don't understand. If you make it to the third round of interviews, they fly you out to Miami. Let me pay attention a little bit closely now. Burger King headquarters is located in Miami. Now there's no requirement as far as like what major you have to be. They said they accepted all majors. I'll go for it, why not? And the goal here is to get that free trip to Miami. So let's get it started. Around November of my junior year, I went ahead and applied on the website. I uploaded my resume. It wasn't until the following January that I was reached out to by the actual Burger King Corporation for a phone interview. And I interviewed with somebody who was like a lawyer for the company, which was really random. It was honestly your typical interview questions at first. Then this is kind of like the part that made it a little bit unique. There was some math questions, which honestly, they weren't even hard. One of the questions was like, okay, if the minute hand is on the 3 and the hour hand is on the 6, how many degrees is that? Like what kind of angle is that? They wanted me to like say what my reasoning was, so I had to like step by step explain. We know that a whole circle is 360 degrees and half of that is 180 and then half of that is 90 degrees. That was easy, you know? And he was like, you would be surprised how many people get that wrong. I feel like I nailed that first interview. A week later, I got a call that I was moving on to the second round of interviews, which was a Skype interview. So the day of my Skype interview, the signal was so bad that my interview turned into another phone interview. I don't remember who interviewed me, but it was some guy who like wasn't a lawyer, he was an actual corporate employee, and he even had a freaking Burger King cup in his hand with a straw and everything. I was like, okay, I mean, so professional. It was more of the same thing. It was honestly exactly like the first interview. And then the last portion was math questions. This time I was asked some question like, okay, let's say it's 6 p.m. on the East Coast. How many people in all of the United States are having dinner right now? Which that sounds like a really crazy question, but he assured me there's no right or wrong answer. I just really want to see how you explain it. You can assume things. Just assume. So I was like, okay, I'ma assume. Let's assume that there's 400 million people in the United States. I know that's not true. I know that there's like 300 million people, but there's 4 time zones. And in my head, I was gonna break it up into time zones. Let's just say for argument's sake, there's 100 million people per time zone. Let's say there's 100 million people in the eastern part of the United States. And let's say about half of those people are actually working people that have a 9-to-5 job. And it's 6 p.m. Well, not everybody has dinner at 6 p.m. because some people have a late job. So let's say maybe another half of that are having dinner at that time, and so on and so forth. And that's how I went with literally like every time zone. And eventually like made up some number. A week later, I got the magical news that I moved on to the final third round of the Burger King interviews. And for me at that point, I had already won because I knew I was going to Miami on Burger King's dime. They gave me the Burger King Orbitz for Business account. I was gonna be interviewing on Friday, February 12th. I was guaranteed a hotel stay the night before on Thursday. They recommended that I fly in Thursday morning and leave Friday night. Being from Miami, I had the hookup. And so I was like, is it okay if maybe I do more than that? And she was like, oh, I mean, you're only guaranteed Thursday night, but like, that's fine, do whatever you want. And I was like, okay, this is so great. I'm gonna turn this into a business trip. I emailed every other professor that I had class with that semester that I was going on a business trip and would be gone for the whole week. I fly in on Thursday night. I go to the hotel. The girl that was working the front desk concierge was somebody that I went to high school with. Now, one of the things that they told us to prepare was like a presentation on yourself. They said that potentially if you moved on to the final round, you would be doing a presentation to the CEO and CFOs and whatever. I just prepared a PowerPoint slide in the hotel room, hotel computer, with like a picture of myself and fun facts about me, and I hit print and I had that in my purse the whole day the next day. Come Friday morning, there was continental breakfast in the hotel lobby, and I saw a bunch of other potential interns, and they were from all over the country. There were kids from Duke, from Princeton, from Harvard. I mean, like, we were all from really top colleges. There was a shuttle that was gonna take us from the hotel straight to Burger King headquarters. Now, when we got to the actual Burger King building, we went to a conference room, all of us potential interns, and there were circular tables around that room, and our names were already on a chair. So I found my name, sat in my chair, and then all the people that were in my same table were gonna be like my teammates for the rest of the day. Once we're all settled in, we did like this icebreaker game. Everybody had to like stand up, say where they're from, what school they attended, and what's your favorite Burger King item. I had not eaten at Burger King in years before that question, so I kind of just defaulted to the French fries, because I mean, you can't really mess up French fries. For the first hour of the morning, they brought in some HR lady who was basically telling us about the internship program, amazing things that the interns have done. They really tried to sell it to us that their interns, it's not like other places where the interns are just getting coffee. Like, they said that as an intern, you have so much power at Burger King. They also told us during that internship orientation that Burger King had acquired Tim Hortons. Now, I had read on the blogs actually that the reason why Burger King acquired Tim Hortons was so that they could become a Canadian company and not have to pay US business taxes. Shady, shady, shady. So after they sold us on Burger King, whatever, some really like scary looking Brazilian lady came in. I mean, she had an angular bob. She was all about the business, and she said that we were gonna be playing a business game. As a marketing minor and someone who really did not like being a business minor, I honestly had no idea what the fuck I was doing during this game. People that are at your table were your teammates, and then they brought in 2 Burger King corporate employees to be at each table and observe you play the game and see how you strategize with your fellow team members. I honestly don't remember the game that well. All I know is that like, they were saying that each table represented a country. So like we were Latin America, somebody else was Africa, somebody else was like Australia or something. And then we would like roll the dice, and then that would determine like how much you sold that particular month. And then based on that, you would like adjust your ticket numbers and then explain why you chose that number and see if it yielded the results that you thought you did. And like I said, that shit went over my head. Needless to say, my team did not win that game. We really sucked, and somebody else did from Harvard. So after this crazy game that we played, we went ahead and took a tour of Burger King. They literally took us to every single floor. After the tour, we had a lunch break. So lunch was provided, and they actually had a chicken with like a K''N type sandwich. It was really cool. I was like, wow, I didn't think I was gonna be able to eat anything but French fries, but hey, they got like a vegan option here. I believe it's on the 3rd floor. On the 3rd floor of Burger King headquarters, there is an actual like full service Burger King restaurant, so that's where we ate. So after lunch, we went back to a conference room, and we had even more interviews to do. They set up like 15 different stations. It was like a speed dating. So you would sit at a table across from another Burger King corporate employee, and then they would interview for 10 minutes, beep, the timer would go off, and you would move on to the next person, and so on and so forth. And this went on for like an hour. I'm not even kidding. They also had a copy of my resume with them. The same kind of shit that they asked on the phone and in the Skype interview, it was the same thing, just in person. There was a lady who, she was so cute. She had red hair, freckles. I think she was from HR. One of the questions that she asked me is, what is your biggest weakness? Now, in my marketing class, my teacher said that question is a trap. Just say that you have no weaknesses. And I remember when he told this to the class, we were like, what are you talking about? That's not how you answer that question. Don't you think that just makes you look arrogant or something? And he was like, no, you gotta be confident and say that you truly have no weaknesses. I was like, you know what, I have nothing to lose. I'm gonna tell her I have no weaknesses. So, okay. She goes, so do you have any weaknesses? What are your biggest weaknesses? And I said, ma'am, you know, to be honest with you, according to the requirements for this position on my resume and my skills, truthfully, I don't have any weaknesses. And she was like, come on, really? Yo, that shit does not work. My marketing professor lied to me because I looked like a fucking asshole by saying that. And she was like, come on, you gotta have some weaknesses. I mean, everybody has weaknesses. And I was like, no, honestly, you know, and I kept pushing back. No, honestly, you know, I work really hard. I'm very organized. As you can see from my resume, I'm this, and that. She was not having it. And I could see the timer was about to go off. And then I was like, well, I mean, I guess I don't really like to ask for help. And next. And then I moved on to the next speed round. Oh my God, if there's anything that I learned that day is do not say that you have no weaknesses at an interview. Oh God, that's like the worst thing that you could say. Maybe that worked for my marketing professor because he's a tall white man, but for a girl like me, that answer did not work. So after the speed, I just remember he was super orange and he had like black dyed hair or a toupee, and he clearly smelled like cigarettes and had been smoking for many years because his voice was raspy. And he was like, so you know, I got this paper here in front of me and I'm just gonna ask you a bunch of questions. And I was like, okay, great. And honestly, he did not seem invested at all in this interview. And it was really, really fast questions. I don't even remember them. They were a little bit more analytical than the previous round of interviews, but we finished our questions so fast that for like the last 10 minutes, we were just chatting about Miami, going on a cruise. Like, it was so fun. I'm not even kidding. I mean, truly, like, I had nothing to lose on this day. My second 30-minute interview was with a younger guy. He was also from Miami, and he ended up being really a lot more serious. One of the first questions that he asked me was like, what's an innovation that you could add to Burger King? And I said, well, considering that the rise of veganism and vegetarianism is really going on, I think that Burger King should invest in adding more vegan options. The vegan crowd is growing, the vegetarian crowd is growing. As people become more and more educated and interested in what's in their food, I think it would behoove Burger King to add some plant-based options. And I really think that this is a target audience that we're missing out on. I mean, the guy looked at me like I was crazy, but hey, they have the Impossible Burger now several years later, so I was onto something, okay? You know, pushing my vegan agenda. So after all of that, the interns were taken back to the first conference room that we were in at the beginning of the day, and basically we were just like waiting for 10 minutes for them to deliberate on who would move on to the final round where you would, like, you know, present yourself to the CEO. I'm there, whatever, sitting, chilling, talking with the other interns. They're all like super nervous. Once they had made their decision one by one, they called us up. Kenya, oh hi, that's me. Okay, come with me. And we go to the other room, sit down in this cubicle with walls and everything. Well, thank you, Kenya, for being here today. We at Burger King want to thank you for your time, and we have decided to not move forward with you. You can go downstairs, grab your bags, and head home. America's Next Top Model style, you guys. So when I went down to to the first floor. I had time to kill, and fun fact, there is actually a Burger King museum on the first floor of Burger King headquarters. So like I went in there with a couple other people and we were looking around. They have pictures of like the first ever Burger King. They had the actual first ever Burger King uniform, which was super cute, 1950s style, and like other memorabilia throughout the years. I could see everybody else that wasn't chosen either. A lot of them were really upset about not getting on to the next round. Like some people were even bitter about it. Like, well, I like McDonald's better anyway. For me, I was just honestly so grateful to have the opportunity to have gotten a free trip to Miami. Having a theater background, I feel like I take rejection fairly well. And I felt bad that a lot of those kids were really upset that they didn't get chosen, so I offered to take them to Palacio de los Jugos down the street and have some authentic Cuban food with me and enjoy their last few hours in Miami. That's pretty much it. That was my entire Burger King corporate internship interview experience. I hope you guys liked my story and learned something new. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, friends!